morning. Today we are in Virginia and we're working on a HondaJet. This is a red and white 2016. It's really good shape. My client just bought it and wants to get it all shined up. So we're doing a paint correction, ceramic coating, and despite being in really good shape, there are a lot of swirls and buffing marks, that kind of stuff. So definitely needs that paint correction. In some areas there's some sanding marks that require a little bit deeper paint correction, so a lot of work. It is a larger aircraft than what I usually work on. Of course, it's not as big as, for example, the Gulfstream that's in the background there, but there's a lot of surface area, especially kind of in this area here where you have the engines, the engine pylons. The space between the fuselage and the nacelles is kind of tight, so you end up spending a disproportionate amount of your time in this area and kind of up there. The fuselage, of course, is easy because there's no exposed rivet heads. It's a very smooth fuselage. So I already started on the other side. We're going to finish up this side, get the engine pylon, then we're going to get underneath, get the belly polished, then we're going to alcohol wipe everything, remove any polish residue that might be on there. We're going to ceramic coat the fuselage and the tail, then we move on to the wings. So a lot of work, let's get to it.
So let's look at some of the paint defects here. These are sanding marks. See that pattern? These kind of in random directions, that's called RIDs, random intermediate depth scratches. Those are generally from washing. So that's why when I wash, I try and move in straight lines as much as possible. So I'm spraying a 1 to 20 dilution of Optimum, no rinse, spraying it on, wiping it off. Now look at that. So you see that bug splatter? This is just something cool that I've been meaning to show you guys. Where the bug proteins are, the no-rinse sticks because it's protein and protein is attracted to water. And everywhere else it just kind of beads. So that's what we want. We want the water to work on the protein and dissolve it and soften it. So when we take it off, it doesn't scratch. For this job, I'm using a medium aggressive paint correction. So we're using the blue wool Rupes pad on a forced rotation flex cordless polisher along with the last cut compound. That's a mouthful. And like I said, we're doing a pretty intermediate level aggression compounding. And because aircraft paint's really hard, we can actually finish this down. This compound is a diminishing abrasive. So it starts really aggressive and then it works its way down to more of a polish. So in most cases we can do a one step on this but still get pretty good results. If you look at the light reflection, for example, where we just polish, you can see how much clearer that looks. Other areas, like on the engine here where we have a lot of sanding marks, I did that same one step. Because it's such a visible area, I actually ended up doing a few more steps to get everything out. So after that first step, you can see really just focusing on those sanding marks and wiping it off. The results were good, but they weren't as excellent as they could be. So let's take a look. You see those sanding marks are still in there. You notice how it's not hazy though from the compounding. Because it's a diminishing abrasive, so it polishes down nicely. Flex's little cordless polisher, which I think is called the PXC80, it actually has a lot of torque. It uses a brushless motor, so we can put a microfiber cutting pad or a wool pad on there, use the dual action head, use that same the last detail compound, and it actually does a really good job of focusing that compound energy right where you need it. So this is a great way to chase out deeper paint defects when you don't need the whole area compounded again. So these are holograms. These are from overly aggressive buffing with a rotary. See how that light reflection is not very clean. Generally these come out pretty easily as well. I consider that a kind of a light to superficial surface defect. But we're using the same method and you can see it clears out very nicely. After polishing the whole plane, we alcohol wipe it. Alcohol wiping pulls out any polishing oils, waxes, fingerprints, any kind of oils that might be on there. So the alcohol dissolves everything. You see how it gets hazy. Then you go back over it with a clean section of your microfiber towel and you buff away that haze, and that takes off those oils and polishes. And if you're a fan of the channel, you know that after this step we ceramic coat. So ceramic coating's wiped on and kind of spread in. It's kind of an oily looking liquid. If I walked away from this, it would cure hard with streaks in there. So it's really important to level everything back off, which is done with microfiber towel. So here we're wiping away the excess. The coating bonds really quickly to the paint and forms a really tough and hydrophobic surface. So all those scratches you see from cleaning, because the airplane is going to clean up easier, you don't have to wash it as hard and you don't generate those scratches. Also, the surface is harder a little bit, so it's a little more scratch resistant. But more than anything, just because it cleans easier, it takes less effort, that paint correction that we worked so hard on is going to be preserved for longer. And once all that got coated, I went to the parts that I was procrastinating. So top of the tail, that was fun. Working off the ladder, you gotta get the top side, underside. Underside of the wings, if you guys know me, you know how much I like vortex generators, especially when trying to polish them between them. It turns out the HondaJet has vortex generators right in front of the ailerons and the underside, so coating that was a little cumbersome. But it all got done. Everything's protected, glossed up, looking great. I don't expect to do this again for quite a while. We generally give planes 1,000 flight hour durability on the coating, but since all the mess goes out straight the back, you know, I feel like this coating is going to hold up a little bit longer. So here it is. Thanks so much for watching. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel and we'll get you some more content. Thanks for watching.